going to show you how to get rid of a debt collector in 30 seconds. I'm your host, Foresight, and this is Blind Intelligence, where the rules, rights, and the responsibilities put you back in control. My question to you today is, does the debt collector constantly blowing up your phone? Is they constantly calling you like you owe them your last breath? Well, let me tell you something. You don't. Let me put out the disclaimer first. This is not legal advice. I do not offer legal advice. If you would like legal advice, I suggest you find yourself a competent professional, and please be advised. What I'm about to say here is strictly for education and information purposes only. And the views and opinions of me, the host, Foresight, does not reflect any of the views and opinions of any platform that hosts Blind Intelligence. Now, you don't argue, you don't admit, and you don't explain. Simple as that. If you really, this is how you do it. You don't argue, you don't admit, and you don't explain. When that debt collector calls you, you let them know. You say, hey, you validate this debt, put it in writing, cease and desist until you do, and hang the phone up. That's how you do it. There's your 30 seconds remedy. Simple as that. As simple as that. You know why? Because they got to follow the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. That's why. That's why. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat nothing to you, okay? You have your third-party debt collector, and you got your in-house debt collector, in which they all have to follow the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. But you have to do something as well. You have to make sure that you're in honor. You stay in honor in all your dealings, because it's not that it's not, you know you took out the loan, right? Okay. But the question is, on a third party debt collector and on an in-house debt collector, first of all, the third party debt collector, do they own that debt? Is there a contract between you and them? No. See, they contact you like you owe them. So I want to know, do you owe me? Do I owe you? Is there a contract between you and me? Okay, produce that. Get all that. Get that handle. Get that handle. And then you have to show me that you own this debt. They're not going to be able to do it. They're third party debt collector, of course. Now the in-house debt collector is different monsters. So, well, what happens if the creditor's coming after you? They hire a debt collector to do it. Well, they still have to fall up under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. But see, there's a different method. They have to prove that they have an assignment with that creditor. They have to. They have to prove that they have an assignment with that. Because you're not just going to hand over your money to anyone. You're not. You're not going to hand over your money to anybody. So they have to validate too. They all got to bow down to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act of 15 USC 1692G. I'm telling you. Validation, validation, validation. And until they do, they must cease and desist all communications. So to say, well, what if they do validate the debt? Okay, third party debt collector is not. I can guarantee you they're not. I can about guarantee you that they're not going to validate that debt for informational purposes only. You know, the third party. What about the in-house debt collector? Well, the in-house debt collector, they still going to have to prove they have an assignment with your creditor. You took out $1,000, they're gonna come after you. Okay, cool. Let's say that you took out 1,000 and you owe them about four. Okay, you owe them $400. Okay, cool. Show me the assignment. They have to prove that. All that they have to give you all that paperwork to show and prove who they are, because you're just not gonna fork over your funds to anybody, because that creditor could come after you. And me personally, I'll be calling the creditor. Hey, do you got so and so debt collector company? Y'all hired by them? Some of them may say something, some of them may not. But everything's gonna be in writing. I'm not calling them. It's gonna be in writing. Cause you wanna know. You wanna know. But it should be cleared up. If that debt collector is on the up and up, you shouldn't have no problems. And like I said, then you can either reach a settlement agreement or however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Pay it out in full, or make and ask, would you like to make a settlement agreement and give them an offer, or give them an offer. You know. So I mean, but the point is that you want to stay in honor. Stay in honor. Always stay in honor. Real talk. When you're dealing with debt collectors, you know, you want to make sure that they're following the rules. So you need to know what the rules are. This is how you get what you call your remedy. Is that the word? But you need to know what the rules are. You need to know what the rules are. How you going to assert anything you don't know what the rules are? Do you know what your rights are? No, because you don't know what the rules are. Because the rules tell you what your rights are. Real talk. The rules tell you what your rights are, not the other way around. You just don't come in and say, "Hey, I got rights." If you don't know what your rights are, then you don't have any. Because you should be immediately ready to assert them. But here's where the responsibility come in. You have to be responsible. You have to be the one to answer those letters. You have to be responsible to say, "Hey, look, listen. You know, I'm gonna answer you," and I'm talking about who. I don't care if it's a third-party debt collector or an in-house debt collector. You have to be responsible. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. I'm your host, Foresight. I can be reached at blindintelligence718@gmail.com if you would like consultations. There will be a fee, but I don't trust me. I don't charge that much. But because I really would like to help, and my help is very, very it's valuable, but my help is very valuable. But because I'm going to give you more than what you pay for. Um, because I want you to get out of this. I want you to more so learn than just accept this consultation. Okay? So it's very important to you, you know. So but you can reach me there and we'll exchange phone numbers, and I would love to hear from you. But anyway, back to what I was saying. You have to stay in honor. You must stay in honor. You must make sure you are responsible in all your dealings. You took out the loan, you can't pay it back, that's not of your fault. But you want to make sure that you in the correct communications with the correct people. Because this thing should never get to court ever. It should never get to court. If it gets to court, then you did something wrong. You didn't answer that letter. They done did administrative process on you. Now they're sending the sheriff to your doorstep, and now you got to go to court. It should never get to court. I'm gonna say it again. It should never get to court. You need to have if you answer them promptly and tell them cease and desist, and validate this debt, they have to cease and desist. If not, they're breaking the law. Send them certified mail, get return receipt. And if they break the law and send you another letter, guess what? If it's not a letter of validation, if it's any other type of letter, you just got them on record. And believe me, if they take you to court, you won your case. I'm your host, Foresight. By the way, share this video and subscribe. And do me a favor, give me some likes and run my analytics up so we can put out some more content, because I want to get this thing out as far as I can. Thanks for watching.